There are stories time tries to erase, stories covered by the dust of forgetfulness, yet they continue to exist, hidden in the darkest corners of memory. One of these stories tells of a city, not above the ground, but buried far beneath it. A city long forgotten by all, until now. Centuries ago, there was talk of a city built deep beneath the earth. Its origins were uncertain, but one thing was agreed upon. The city had been abandoned in a distant time, lost to history. Some said it held unimaginable secrets, treasures beyond comprehension, but also something darker, something that should never be awakened. Many sought to find it. None ever returned. It was as if the depths swallowed them whole, leaving no trace. As the years passed, the legend faded, becoming nothing more than a faint echo in old tales. But the legend didn't vanish entirely. Years later, an old librarian stumbled upon a map hidden within a dusty book. The map, drawn by hand and nearly illegible with age, appeared to lead to the lost city. But there was something else, a warning, faintly etched in letters eroded by time. The city must never be found. The librarian, curious but cautious, kept the map, but never had the courage to follow it. The warning seemed to weigh heavily on him, and so the map remained locked away for decades, until it fell into the wrong hands. The city was eventually discovered by a group of explorers. They cared little for warnings. To them, the mystery and promise of riches outweighed any superstition. Guided by the map, they dug for weeks until they found an ancient, sealed passage. And there, deep within the earth, they found the first signs of the forgotten city. When they cracked open the entrance, a cold, heavy wind rushed out to meet them. It was as if the air hadn't moved in millennia, and as they shone their lanterns into the vast cavern, what they saw was an entire city, untouched, hidden beneath the surface. Ancient towers, stone streets, and buildings crafted with an architecture unlike anything seen before. But it wasn't what they saw that terrified them. It was what they felt. The city was alive. Something ancient and powerful had been buried with those stones. As they explored the deserted streets, the explorers realized they were not alone. At first, they saw only shadows, quick movements that vanished before they could understand what they were. But soon, the figures became clearer. Ancient beings, forgotten by time, inhabited those depths. They weren't ghosts, nor were they human. They were something in between, beings twisted by eternity, guardians of a secret no one was meant to uncover. And now, the explorers had awoken what they had feared most. Panic set in as the explorers tried to flee, but the passages began to collapse, and exits vanished before their eyes. The city seemed to shift, like a living organism, trapping them in an endless maze. And then, the truth became clear. The city was never abandoned. It had been waiting for those foolish enough to wake it. It wasn't just a place, it was an entity. And now, it was alive again, feeding on the fear and despair of its new prisoners. No one ever knew what became of those explorers. The city, once again, faded from memory, buried beneath the sands of time. But if you listen closely, on the quietest of nights, you can hear the whispers, faint voices rising from the depths of the earth, telling stories of a city that should never have been found. And so, the legend continues. Perhaps the city still lies there, waiting for its next visitor. Perhaps one day someone will dig deep enough to find it again. But the question you must ask yourself is, would you have the courage to descend into the depths, and discover what waits for you. The lost city beneath will remain lost, or will it be found by you?